Can trauma make you stronger? The answer is yes. And it's called post-traumatic growth. So, how does this work? Even after severe stress and crippling trauma, big T, little t, even after grief and loss, there are a growing number of people who don't just get to their base level, the same that they were before the traumatic incident, they actually do even better. And there are a few reasons for this, which we'll talk about today. Have you ever faced a traumatic incident? Most humans, whether they realize it or not, have. But there is reason for hope. And just knowing this, the research shows, helps people to get back to themselves and get even stronger in many ways. So today we'll explore 5 signs of post-traumatic growth. And don't be surprised if you already have a few that are helping you in important ways. You might recognize, oh yeah, I'm already doing that, right? I'm Randy Taran, founder of Project Happiness. And this is just one aspect of what we talk about, becoming happier as we age, getting stronger from the inside out, and how to create a life you love at any stage. If you haven't already, do subscribe so you don't miss a topic that would give you energy, hope, and maybe a new perspective. And please, like or share and help us reach more people who could use this too. So sometimes the events in life, especially the hard ones, the challenging, the painful ones, can point us to a greater sense of purpose. Regular challenges like in relationships, rejection, divorce, whatever, um, health, breaking a leg, getting a diagnosis, finance, unemployment, or other unexpected curveballs, usually, according to Dr. Martin Seligman, settle after a month or two and leave people basically right back where they were. They're coping. But we're talking about another level that, it's not just about bouncing back. When people are witnessing sudden life-threatening events, war, violent personal assault, the shocking death of someone you love, a shooting, that can cause post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. And the result of this sudden attack on the psyche often includes flashbacks, emotional numbness, and feeling jumpy or easily triggered or isolated. But there are a large number of people who actually come out of this acute stress stronger than they were before. And this is what we're exploring. So when psychologists Richard Tedeschi and Lauren Calhoun were working on parents who had lost their children, and that I can't even imagine, it's a loss that could shred anyone or their relationships too. They discovered that not only how much the parents were helping each other, but how in the middle of their own grief, instead of wallowing in despair, they were moved to do something to help other families from having to face the same tragedy. They wanted to work to change the circumstances that had led to their own child's death. So that gave them a focus, a cause, a reason for connecting with others that was bigger than their own suffering. Think of MADD, MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, or the Sandy Hook Project, how parents went on a mission so that other families wouldn't have to go through what they did. Or people like Chris Carr, who made a film about her inoperable stage 4 cancer, found ways to conquer the disease, wrote a New York Times bestselling book, Crazy Sexy Cancer, and described her wellness solutions there and used basically her experience to start a movement. All these people and so many more didn't just experience resilience through bouncing back to their former baseline with post-traumatic growth. The people changed as a result of their unthinkable ordeal. And it was a change for the better. So now I want to give you 5 signs of post-traumatic growth. Number 1 is discovering new knowledge, new opportunities, and possibilities that have emerged that were not there before. Inadvertently, people become an expert in an area that had caused them great pain, suffering, and there was this mission to learn everything that they can about that area. So that's the first thing. The second is closer relationships with others and an increased sense of connection to others who suffer also that emerges. So think after a mass trauma like a shooting or far back, September 11th, sociologists describe this as the democracy of distress. So from all walks of life, people are leaning into their humanity. They're compelled to help. And that's the thing with post-traumatic growth. There's this feeling like I'm compelled. I've got to help. I've got to help others. Number 3 is a greater appreciation for life. My dear friend lost her brother to cancer very young, and now she has a great appreciation for being alive and for the little things that she might have previously overlooked. Number 4 is deepening spiritual lives. So Chris Carr repositioned her inoperable stage 4 cancer as crazy sexy cancer and is not only thriving, but running a successful online wellness platform. But what's interesting about that is that she describes cancer as her teacher, her guru. She says that when she changed her focus, desperation led to inspiration, and she learned how to really live. Number 5 is feeling stronger. There is a renewed sense that if I can get through that, I can probably face anything. So, how does it work? First, people are consumed by the pain. Why did this have to happen? It's too much. And that's understandable. Wow. There's an urge to wallow, to obsess, to avoid, to numb the pain. And it's easy to get stuck there, especially, without someone to talk to, without support, and many do. So now I want to give you this fascinating study. The participants had all gone through something traumatic, and the study challenged them to take an active role in their own healing. So instead of the medical professionals telling them what to do, when to do it, how to think about it, all of that, they were tasked with coming up with ideas not only to get them through, but to help them move on. They were challenged to take charge. David Feldman, the psychologist and co-author of Super Survivors, The Surprising Link Between Suffering and Success, explains, trauma survivors who experience PTG, that's post-traumatic growth, acknowledge their own sadness, suffering, anger, and grief, and are realistic about what happened to them. But in the midst of their pain, they're able to ask, given where I am in my life, how can I build the best future possible? Some even ask, how can I prevent this from happening to others? Which leads to a greater sense of meaning and purpose. So if you want to think of it in a short way, it's accept plus connect plus take action equals or leads to post-traumatic growth. So more than just accepting what happened to them, they feel it made them better human beings than they would have been without it. Amazing. And it made them wiser and willing to take the risk of being more fully alive. So happiness is not the absence of obstacles. It's an inner reservoir that helps us handle whatever comes our way. After the healing, there is that greater capacity, that greater reservoir for compassion and action and making a difference. When we recognize that our true nature has to do with all these things, we're reminded that though life happens, it's up to each of us, and we each have the power to choose how we interpret and deal with whatever comes our way. So I hope you can grab some of these points and even recognize that perhaps you are already using this in your life. As always, sending you so much love, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.